Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and it's only going to get worse from here. I think we should start every show by saying that.
Yeah.
It really is a great tagline that you naturally fell into right before we hit record.
I want to remind everybody that Astrofest is going on at the Orlando Science Center.
Yes, no Travis Scott there. Nothing but science and nothing but goodness, and we got to tour it today, and it's going to be super fun, man.
Yeah.
The Science Center's rad.
So Andy Weeks is here. How you doing, Andy?
Good, guys. How you doing?
So we just had, and this is why you guys should listen through Twitch, because we did a whole pre-show about Raphael.
Oh, my God.
You say Raphael, I say Raphael.
I don't think anybody says Raphael.
No, it's Raphael.
No.
Raphael.
But he's the mean one, right?
Raphael.
And then Leonardo is...
Okay, Donatello.
cool-
We started with Donatello.
He's the nerd.
Donatello is the nerd. He's the genius, and everybody knows he's the nerd because his fighting weapon is the stick.
Yeah.
People will say bow staff, but it's a stick. It's definitely a stick.
And then Leonardo is the cool one. Michelangelo
Leonardo
is the stoner.
has the swords.
Yeah. But his personality is cool.
He's the straight man, right?
Is he the straight man?
I think he's a little more straight.
But then Raphael is the D-head.
He's kind of a
He
jerk.
is, right? Right, Andy?
He's the jerk.
He's the jerk. Okay.
And
All
then
right.
Michelangelo is the party dude.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got it right.
Okay, we got it right. Now we can talk poker.
Yeah. Or I don't even know what.
Yeah.
So Andy is a semi-pro poker player at this
I guess you
point.
could say that,
Okay.
yeah.
We should
Don't post pictures of you playing poker on your Instagram.
Yeah.
someone
Sorry.
got a Rec
People get
Plus in the gambling world, they call them.
Is that what they call them?
I like that.
What do they call me in the gambling world? Am I a donkey?
Dong.
Okay.
Oh,
big
Are there
donkey.
worse words?
you're a
than-
Raphael donkey, which is the worst one.
I'm a jerky donkey.
So Andy, what did you come here to talk about? Because Sam I
Told
didn't
us,
even
and we didn't pay
She
attention.
did tell us. Well, I just heard
You were
poker.
about to say Sam didn't tell us, and that was
Yeah.
going to go poorly for you.
I wanted to talk to you about a poker book that I'm listening to because I listened to it. I'm like, yeah. Get to the point. Anyway, so what's going on?
So I am here to promote a meetup game I'm having with the other vlogger I always talk about when I come on the show, Kyle Fischel. He and I are doing a meetup game Saturday at 1 p.m. at Orange City Racing and Card Club. We're doing a 1-3 no limit game out there. We've been doing this for a couple months now. We've been having some really good turnouts these last couple months. So we're expecting that one again, and I'm kind of breaking the news here on T&D. If you're watching live on twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, this is probably going to be the end of my poker journey on
The
YouTube.
end?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
What
I
happened?
have stage
You just-
5 cancer.
Oh my God! Why is it the end?
So
You know, I took a gamble in saying that because there's a chance he says that.
no cancer.
Okay.
You guys know
You
I
don't get to stage
Yeah.
5. Stage 5 is not here. We're like, where's Andy? Oh well, I don't know. We're gonna talk to him about poker.
He's with Luca.
outside of here, I'm a full-time teacher for Orange County Public Schools in their tech college program.
Oh, nice.
I'm also an adjunct at Valencia.
Wait, you're a smarty pants and you're in Orange County, right? Oh, thank God.
And I've been writing a textbook for the class that I teach at Valencia, and I've kind of taken a break from it this summer. But once classes start getting back together, and I'm taking on extra classes at Valencia, plus the textbook is due by the end of the year.
How much are you getting a cut of that textbook?
So once the textbook starts selling, I get a 15% royalty for every copy that's sold.
And let me guess, it's a mandatory book.
It's going to be a mandatory book in my
That's
class.
how they get
Oh,
you. Yeah.
We got to start writing mandatory
Yes.
books.
Well, and
That's how
so
you get the money as a teacher.
And here's the thing: is it's the same class is taught at UCF, and so we've developed that
Oh.
partnership where all the
Double the
UCF
benefits.
kids are going to buy it. So I have a feeling in the first semester I'll make more off those royalties than I've made in 2 years of YouTube. But the
Steal
reality
the
is,
students' money.
Wow.
Forget poker.
Textbooks over influencer.
I'm not going to have the time to
Sure.
play.
Why would you?
Let alone, I mean, you know, from an editing standpoint, how long this.
But
stuff
now
is.
you
And I
got
also-
the bankroll,
Yeah,
Andy.
no.
Now's your time to go for it.
But he's a perfectionist too. We've talked about this. You're not going to be able to do that.
No.
You're just It's not. He's not going to be able to do it.
No, my wife has tried to tell me like just have fun with
Yeah.
it, have fun with it. But
She's
no,
here,
I
she's
treat
here.
it like a business. Like I want this to be a successful YouTube channel. I can't invest the time in it.
Hold on,
anymore.
let me talk to Andy's wife for a second. Do you want to be in the mic? I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we didn't even ask her. Hold on.
So, Miss Weeks, let me discuss a proposition I got for you.
Oh, hey, I've seen this movie before.
No.
They land the helicopter and Robert Redford.
It all just dawned
And
on
in the
me
money.
right now.
It's so gross. In the money. That's gross.
This is how movies are made. Okay, so Andy, obviously super smart. He knows
he
poker.
wrote a textbook, for Christ's sake.
And then
he's the opposite of you. You don't read textbooks. He writes textbooks.
So Andy, everybody knows that the money is
in the banana stand.
No, in these rich private games in Hollywood. They made a movie about this where all these.
Oh yeah, Kevin Spacey's there.
No,
he's problematic. What happened to that guy? Oh,
not Spacey.
He's touching me. Oh my God, he has his hand in my pants.
So where these super rich guys who think they are good at poker, but they have no idea. They're
rich donkeys.
They have unlimited monkey. The rich donkeys. Exactly.
Unlimited monkeys. I want. Now hold on. That's better than the unlimited money.
And then once you infiltrate those games,
you got to get in.
And if you know what you're doing, you could clean up and take these guys for the money.
Mrs. Weeks does not. She's falling asleep.
So all we need to do, Miss Weeks, is once Andy gets his book monies, right? Then
you sound like a child asking if you can come out to play.
Right. I'll partner with. I'm the business partners. I'll get Andy into the game. Now, we're going to have to dress him up like some sort of Sheik.
Like a Sheik. We're doing the Sheik again. The Sheik returns. No, wait a minute. You used to be the Sheik, and now Andy's the Sheik?
Well, it's all Sheiks.
Sheiks for life.
All Sheiks.
Sheiks for life.
And then once we get you into this game, and then, because I know,
don't
friends
do your
friends,
Sheik voice yet. You're going to want to run that by me first before you start practicing.
Daniel will coach you up on the Sheik
I'm a
voice.
Sheik coach.
And then through friends of friends, I can probably get us into a super rich millionaire cash game. You get in there as the Sheik, and then
the white Sheik. It's not.
Well, there's
it's not
paint involved.
There's no. I nixed the paint. I nixed the paint.
Anyway,
we can't be doing that.
And you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's
These
actually
guys
less of a Sheik and more of like an Alibaba sort of a guy.
So,
more of like a man genie.
Andy, how confident are you that if you get into a cash game full of guys that are just rich and I've watched poker on TV and they play a long time, but you know how it is, guys, a lot of
suckers,
a lot of rich fat dads play poker and they have no idea what they're doing. They know the rules of the game and you could just eat them alive eventually. So how confident are you could beat that table?
It's so funny you bring this up because I'm kind of already in one of those games.
Yes!
I'm in a private game.
My God, I thought you looked like the Sheik when you did it. I was like, is that Andy or is that the Sheik?
He didn't put his hat on the table.
He took it off to come in here, and I was like, no, leave it on. But he's
like a picnic table.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre because these guys are
Yasser Arafat in here.
They're independently wealthy.
That's a reference.
But they play for quarters. They have very weird rules about how much you can buy in for. But by the end of the night, there's thousands of dollars on the table.
Oh my God!
And typically, I walk into that game. I always struggle in the beginning, but I think my wife will agree. I usually walk out of that game a winner, right?
Yeah.
Until last weekend when I went to play, and there was $4,000 on the table.
Everyone was a Sheik,
and I couldn't beat anybody. The only person I could beat was myself. But usually when I get to those games, I feel that I could at least be competitive in them.
Well, everybody has variants and have bad runs.
Yeah,
luck.
Sure.
Luck. People.
It does play into it.
Poker is not obviously all about skill. There's luck involved, and then to get good, you just figure out how to manage that and play as well as you can, and how to read other people and figure out what they're doing and how they play. But for the most part, in games of just fun that rich guys get together and play, they actually get mad if you play.
Do you walk away a lot and do you see them going, "Oh God, here's the guy"? Do they?
No, I'm not well liked at this game.
I was gonna say they look at you as like a top tier player when you show up.
And, when I go to these meetup games and the people that show up to the meetup games play regularly and they watch my channel and they understand the theory behind poker, those are almost easier than the crazy rich dad games because there's no theory in those games whatsoever. So you have pocket kings, you've raised pre-flop, you see a flop of jack 7 deuce, you think there's no way that hit them, and then they flip over 7 deuce because there's no theory happening. They're just literally playing any 2 cards.
I used to always. I think that's one of the hardest things for guys like me. Like, let's just say, extreme novice poker players that know the rules but don't play poker. Right? That's me. I know how to play. I just don't ever play. It is very difficult for me to understand that there is a way to play it, and then if you don't play that way, that you are kind of screwing up the table. It took me a while to sort of understand that everybody, like, to be in a good game, you want everybody playing correctly and like playing for the poker, not just to try and disrupt. That's probably the perfect word for that. A disruptor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no.
Because people rail against that. Jimmy used to rail on me. He's like, you're not playing right. You're screwing up the game.
Jimmy's one of those rich dads that I'm talking about that think they know. They read one Phil Hellmuth book, and then they got it all figured out.
Have you ever noticed he can pronounce anything gambling?
I feel like if you are really good, then you welcome all the donkeys you want, because over enough time you will steal all their money. Although in tournaments, then you throw that out the window, because like cash games, you eventually all the donkeys will lose. But in tournaments, for sure, donkeys can they could play without even looking at their cards and then have a run of good luck and beat you. So
are you going back to just standard? It's now your hobby, and are you going to exit the channel, give it to other people? Like, how are you going to handle that?
So that's where I'm going back and forth on. Like, I don't want to abandon, give up the channel. I think I might still continue to do the meetup games every other month and maybe make an episode out of that. But just in terms of having any success with the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff, you have to put out content constantly, and I'm not going to be able to do that. So it's going to be much more of a hobby moving forward.
Andy, before we get in to what you came in here for, besides from announcing that you're quitting, I want to ask you about.
I've wanted to announce that for so long, but I can't. I'm literally trapped.
Underground poker games. So if I wanted to start an underground poker game,
first you got to be underground to truly be like that show, the Silo, like that show Silo on Apple Plus. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh,
what is it about?
Center of the earth, it's a building in the center of the earth, dystopian, crazy.
So say between the people you know, Andy, and then all the BDMs, and I knew there's some BDMs that got money. There's this guy Eric. He always flaunted his money.
I love it.
He's taking jabs at me every time he gets.
It's his wife's money. Don't let him fool you.
He is my favorite BDM. He's my favorite BDM because this guy, he doesn't let anything stop him from buying his dreams.
Yeah.
He buys his dreams.
And
everything.
So we'll get him involved, and there's a handful of other people, Tactical Hats, got some cash or whatever, and they're all horrible at poker. We get him in to some back room. We had 3 or 4 tables.
Well, why don't we if we're just going to get him in a back room, why don't we just do an old-fashioned stick-up?
No. And then we run a game. We get some dealers in there. We're paying them cash. We're taking a rake for the house.
We have a BDM dealer.
We do.
We have a BDM drug dealers.
We got a lot of those.
A lot of those.
Then we'll get some plants in there. They'll be skimming across all the donkeys, taking their money.
Meanwhile, all waitresses are completely nude.
Nude waitresses.
Nude waitresses.
I've seen that in the old Mako's.
Yeah, the old Mako's.
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it. The old Mako's. One time Tom comes in. Tom comes in, and we're working the mornings, and he would fly in. You flew in at the last second. Why does it go? I can't tell you what I saw, like where I was last night. And then he started, but then of course he's going to tell me. And then he started telling me where you were.
It was in a mansion on the Winter Park chain of lakes. I walked in, and in this guy's garage pool house where he had a 3
like Enigma's playing, and there's naked waitresses walking around.
3 tables with the dealers, and all the rich guys in Orlando were all playing this cash game. It was
now we're going to name them.
$500 buy-in or whatever, and then I heard they put their tops on for me because media was there. That's what they said.
Media.
They're like, we can't. This guy's gonna talk. And but they said usually tops off. That's what I heard. I think they may be lying. I don't know. Anyway, back to my plan. So how long, Andy, before are the cops the cops are gonna come who's gonna
okay.
kick down our door and get me for hosting an illegal poker game?
Well, one of the girls might talk, so keep your tops on.
Have we ever heard of that happening in Orlando? I'm sure it goes on everywhere. Like, people are doing cash games all over the place.
There's one going on right now.
Is anybody busting these
Every
things?
3
No.
minutes.
No, so we live out in Lake County, out in the Eustis, Mount Dora, Leesburg area, and it is just riddled with all of these pop-up arcades that have these Vegas-style games, and they follow along this loophole of, like, you buy a phone card, and then you use the phone card.
Oh my God,
for
I've been to
credits
these
on the
places.
game,
I almost
and
lost
they
my
have
car at these places.
jackpots.
There used to be one right near my house.
Yeah, so
there used to be,
there used to be I live.
there was one down the street from my mom's place before we sold it. It was like a pachinko parlor.
Yep.
Remember when that was big?
So-
and then you'd go and you'd buy a phone card. Yeah.
So those are regulated by ATF. And so I have to assume poker game falls in the same thing. So I really think it's like meth, fentanyl, poker game. Like, I really think that you could get away with doing a lot of it for a long time before it would get broken up.
Yeah, because I feel like the cops have bigger things to do than
Much bigger things.
like what? Name one thing.
Well, I mean,
Just for science. I want one thing named. I guys got to be named.
You gotta sit side by side in a parking lot with your hood up and just talk to your buddy on
Damn
the
it.
side.
I thought I'd stump you.
Anyway, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't seem like anybody. That seems like more of an IRS, like, not reporting the income of the, it would take years of, like, doing this for it to fall under the radar.
We don't know anybody that's ever had this happen.
No.
I never heard of
like
it.
I knew my parents playing like cards and gambling growing up, and then of course I knew games that I've been to, cash games and stuff like that. I've known cash games that are going on. I know guys in Baldwin that are doing cash games, and I've never met one person. So this is your question, really, is have you ever met one person where the cops came and said, guys, this is illegal, knock it off?
Well, the problem is it's not everybody exchanging money within the table. The problem is already getting the rake and you're hosting it. And then that's where I think they start getting into, like, I don't even know what racketeering is, but I said rack, so it made me think.
Sounds cool, too.
Anyway, but I think it's when you host it, it's kind of like you could gamble with a bookie and no one's ever been arrested for that, but bookies have if they get big enough.
Right.
All of a sudden you have 1,200 clients and you're pulling in, mid six figures and just income that you're trying to launder or whatever.
You're scaring Miss Weeks.
I think your biggest, the biggest hole in your plot here is you've already announced the people you want to try and take advantage of.
Oh,
They'll forget.
They'll forget. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody listens to this. Nobody listens to this.
Also, they think they're smarter than me, so they'll show up just to prove me wrong.
That is true. That is true. They always show up. That's a guarantee.
So, Tom, follow me here on
Yeah.
this one. I believe there is a BDM, a business owner BDM in this group who enjoys poker. I believe he has a warehouse that has probably recently been emptied from the July holiday that just passed.
I know this guy.
He'll do it.
He wants to throw a game. I think if he gets the nudge from old media over there to do it.
Media? I know media. He knows the Sheik.
Here's the problem with that, Andy, is that I think I know what I'm doing. and I'll show up and be ultra confident and talking
until it
cash
all
ass.
falls apart.
And then what happens is I start
taking them away in handcuffs.
I start getting drunk. that's the bigger. Jimmy did this to me one time. I went over to his house and when he was in Baldwin,
because you carried your beers in a Walmart bag.
$400.
He did.
There's other business owners, a guy with glasses and a hood on, and they took me for $400.
They did.
Oh, I ate White Claws. My eyes are high too, and I can't even concentrate anymore. I'm telling stories and I'm just losing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Andy, what did you come in here to talk about?
The actual poker events?
Yes.
His
So,
last
I
hurrah.
forgot about it already.
The
Yeah, I
actual
know.
event is on Saturday, is that the 15th? Oh, God. Saturday, July 15th.
Yes.
Yes.
1 p.m. It's a 1-3 no limit game. Orange City has started doing double board bomb pots. Do you know
My
what those
graphic
are?
says
No.
June 24th. Is that wrong? Or?
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. I sent you the wrong
No,
one.
no, all good. I just wanted to make sure I was representing
Sorry.
you right. No,
July 15th. Are you not familiar with double board bomb pots?
What is that?
Okay. So are you familiar with the bomb pot?
No.
Okay, so a bomb pot is where everybody puts a fixed amount of money in, and then the cards are dealt, and you go straight to a flop. There's no pre-flop betting. And so if there's 8 people at the table, there's $80 in the middle, and you head straight to a flop. At Orange City, they do double board pom pots. So everybody puts $10 in, and then they deal 2 flops out. Then there's a round of betting. They deal 2 turns, another round of betting, and then 2 rivers, and a final round of betting.
Okay.
That's
And so
cool.
each board is worth essentially half the pot. And what makes it unique or interesting is since there's no pre-flop raising, literally anybody can have any 2 cards. And double board bomb pots are a great way to make a mortgage payment in one hand or to lose a mortgage payment in one hand. Because you might think to yourself, well, I don't have much on the top board, but I have 2 pair on the bottom board. So surely, I have to be winning half this pot. Get all your money in, and some guy has a straight on the top and a full house on the bottom, you lose everything. So they generate a lot of action, which makes them a lot of fun for the game. So we do those.
It's more gambling.
Much more gambling.
Than it is. Because
Twice as much losing.
honestly, if you sit down and you play...
Lose your house faster than ever.
If you sit down and you play poker with a bunch of guys that actually know how to play poker, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, it really isn't fun. I didn't want to say that, but I'll say it now
horrible.
that you said it. Yeah, it's not good.
Everybody's sitting there mad, by the way. Everybody's mad.
Silent. Effing silent. And don't make a joke. God forbid you're a little chirper and you make a couple jokes. Get the hell out of here, Daniel. Not wanted.
Everybody's folding 85% of the time.
God, might be higher than
and
that.
And then when you finally do get in a hand with someone, you're trying to grind out the smallest edge that you're taking all the fun out of it.
Yeah,
and
it's not fun.
And Andy, that's what I wanted to talk to you about because at the end of the day, like learning a game of skill is fun, right? But then once you learn it, I've learned this through like gambling, right?
I was going to say life.
NFL betting and just markets and like understanding how people win and stuff. The more and more you understand it, the more or the less fun it is. Where you just realize that
it's that way with video games.
To win.
It's that way with some video games too, like MLB The Show, which is I think is arguably the hardest video game I've ever played in my life.
It's so hard.
And the more I get it to where it should be, like the more I get it to where it should be the real game, right?
Yeah.
I can't do it. And I told Andrea, and she's like, "You haven't played baseball in a while," and I go, "It's not fun." Because I go up and then you're playing it and you lose all the time, just like in real baseball. You lose all the time, just like in real poker. You lose all the time.
I'm glad you used the video game analogy because it would be like playing Madden exactly like Andy Reid would play.
It's not fun. No, it's not. That's why I don't understand these games. They have like Football Manager where you're like the coach and all you do is like sub people and then figure out the tactics and run the, like whatever, a 4-2-5, you run whatever you're going to run. I'm like, that sounds miserable, and I'm not even getting paid millions to do it.
You're running 10 times so the defense moves up so you could pass once. You're just
What's your
grinding
favorite
out
part
a win.
of poker? What is your absolute favorite scenario to be in where you're having to challenge yourself?
Oh man, I tell you what, these meetup games have been fun because they've been challenging in the sense that everybody wants to make the vlog. A lot of people will play hands against me just to make the vlog.
That's
and so again,
interesting.
some of that traditional poker theory goes out the window because they don't care if they win or lose. They just want to get on YouTube.
Interesting.
Andy, let's talk about writing textbooks because the only other, and we should. This can be like a Weird Job Wednesday one day. You should come in and do this because
God, if only we had you here to talk about textbooks.
The other only textbook writer I know was my stepdad's brother's boyfriend. Or husband, but this was in, the late 90s where my stepdad brought me.
His brother was gay and his husband was a textbook author.
And so one time he's like, hey, my brother's out of town in California. Do you want to go over his house and swim? And then I was like, all right. I think I brought the wizard with me.
But I want to tell you,
I was like,
he's a gay textbook author. I'm joking. No one says that.
I went to Biscayne Bay around there, in Miami, Coconut Grove. And this guy lived in a mansion and had...
Built on knowledge. A mansion built on knowledge.
The pool where he brought in all the the Miami rock and coral and stuff that flowed down into hot tubs.
Dwayne Johnson is what they call him. He's from
what's that rock called that they
Coquina?
built? Coquina rock. And then and it was just I'm like,
what is like a glorious 80s pool, like a 90s
ridiculous.
pool? Yeah, just a ridiculous mansion.
And
pool.
then I was like, where? And then my stepdad was like, yeah, he's like my brother's friend. He
right. That's what I I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. He's a harder guy.
My brother's roommate writes textbooks. Come
on, man.
Roommate. And then I was like, textbooks, like math textbooks for college.
Sure.
And then I remember even like there was one open on the guy's desk or whatever. And it was just like algebra books or whatever. And he got stinking rich.
I have a guy that I graduated with in '94, class of '94, DeLand High. He's not even an author. He is a textbook editor. He's just the guy that goes in there and makes sure that thing is accurate before publishing, and he does it all the time. And he is absolutely stinking rich, just like rolling in money rich.
I want to know that.
Well, you got to be good at that. I guess you got to love it. You got to love it. Andrea could do it, I think.
What books are you writing, Andy?
So this is for the Intro to Digital Media class that I teach at Valencia, DIG 2000. I teach it at both Valencia, and then it's also taught at UCF. We were on vacation last year up in the sticks in Georgia when I got the message about it from one of my coworkers.
Oh, so
and
bad.
I looked at my wife. I said, I think I have to do this, don't I? And she goes, yeah, you have to, because it'll be good for your portfolio and stuff. Full transparency, guys, I'm a dum-dum. I'm an idiot. Like, when I go up there and lecture and stuff, a lot of it is just speaking with confidence. I'm not even sure what I'm saying is right. And now they want me to write a textbook where everything
You can
has...
write a textbook, Tom.
I can do that except for write a book.
Your textbook, Tom.
I can't even write anything.
It's interesting because I can get up there and talk to the kids about anything and share the knowledge that I do have and share my experiences. But when I try to take that and actually write it to make it sound educated and important, it has become a struggle.
Yeah, put it in ChatGPT.
And that's why that's why they have editors, is to go through and say, okay, this is what the guy's trying to say, and then they can kind of help me format the text.
Is there some sort of, like, do you have to submit it? Or did they
No, they don't even look at it. They just let you publish it. You don't even need to submit it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there, do they contract you to write it and then that's it? Or do you write it and then submit it and they're like, denied? Or, you know what I'm saying?
No, they reached out to the program chair at the Valencia downtown campus about the opportunity. Like, they asked her, they propositioned her about it, and then she asked if I wanted to be a part of it. And, I mean, I've had free reign to just write and do everything. It's a digital textbook, so there will be an interactive element as well.
Not as cool.
Not as cool, but it allows
everything
us.
digital's not as cool.
But it'll,
you know what? You use the term proposition, and no matter what, when somebody uses that word, I think hooker.
the second I said it, I realized what I had said.
No. If anybody says it, they say proposition, I'm like hooker.
And so I think part of what has made this very challenging is I started with the two hardest chapters to write, which are audio and video. They're the most detailed. They're going to be the longest. I mean, I think my audio chapter is 24 pages long. Oof. Plus, I have to build interactive activities to go with it. Plus, I have to build assignments to go with it.
So you're doing like a full-blown curriculum that sort of goes along with the book, or like at least explains and has like guidelines for how you want it executed from the educator?
Yeah, and essentially what they would do is they would integrate this book into our learning platform, which is Canvas over at Valencia.
Yeah.
And then students would like work through the book and submit their assignments through the book, and that would translate into Canvas, and then I give it a grade. We have roughly, between UCF and Valencia, 500 kids a semester that take this class at $65 per textbook. That's, I'm no math whiz, but that's what, $30,000 of textbooks a semester, and I'm getting a 15% cut of that. Yeah. It's not a bad deal.
That is good. So, Andy, got one poker question for you.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to this book by
you
Phil Hellman.
You got bored of the textbook. I can tell. He floated off during the textbook thing. That's why I put the camera on you. A lot of people don't know this, but I'll cut as the on-site producer here. I'll cut the camera to the guest because I'm like, he's nodding off. He's falling asleep. Sleepy Joe. Cut the guest. He's out. Oh, fell down the stairs.
As you were talking, you turned into the Sheik. And all I can think of is money. And so I've been listening to this poker book because I think I know what I'm doing.
Now, you're back into poker? Because I thought you were doing, like, are you getting angry and a little confused at gambling? And now you want something you can hold, a little more tangible? You want the cards again?
No, the more I listen to, like, all these guys that are really good at sports gambling, they're all good at poker, too. Because there's a lot of the similarities with the game, because it's almost super close because there's luck and skill involved, and you can't take the luck out of it. So you're not playing chess. Anyway, I got one question for you. So when I'm at these dad games trying to take these other
Oh, you're gonna
dads'
get
money.
You should get lessons from him.
They seem to get mad because if you're playing by the book, you want to raise pre-flop, right? When it comes
Based on
around
what
to
you think you have, right?
But
I'm so bad at
a
that.
lot of these fat dad games, they get mad when you because they're like, oh come on,
Yeah,
friendly
let's
pot.
just play. Let's play.
He's like, let's
Come
see
on,
the
we're
flop.
playing. We're playing. I only got an hour.
I got Chris Moneymaker raising pre-flop, and then I'm like, I feel like it's also a tell
It
that
is
you
a
know
tell.
what I'm doing.
It is a tell.
Or that
Yeah.
anybody knows what they're doing. Like anybody's raising pre-flop, especially when if
Well, it would make Jimmy mad because if he raised pre-flop, I'd just fold.
well, especially if it's the big blind, everybody's calling the big blind, and then the big blind raises double big blind or whatever, and then everybody gets mad. They're like, oh. So is there a way? I feel like me and you, Andy, we could write a book together. I'll do the
textbook.
talking.
Oh, we're back in the books. Okay.
And then you
All
use
right.
your poker knowledge.
Andy, he can't write or read.
No, he's gonna talk really fast,
just
and
gonna
he's
talk
gonna.
to him.
Book and
You're,
put his name
you have no idea how fun it's going to be for you to write the first ever book that circle talks itself. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, God.
Because Phil Hellmuth's books how to play poker like a pro, but I need to know how to play poker just to
Like
beat
a dad. How to
local,
play poker like a dad.
but just to beat local fat dads that
Yeah.
I'm playing with, and to not tip them off that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if they think you know as
yeah,
much as
you
they
want
do,
to scam them a little bit.
yeah. So you know what I'm saying, right?
I think. I get a lot of this flack at that home game I mentioned that I go to. They don't like
Yeah.
that I'm so aggressive. They
Ooh,
say it's
what
a-
if I came in when they're complaining and like with a mask on and a gun and told them to knock it off? I was like, knock it off.
I always tell my wife, I love my wife very much, and she's always supported everything I do. But at the poker table, she's just some lady. There are no friends at poker. There are no family members at poker. I'm at poker to do two things: to have a good time, but also to make money. And so I don't worry about when people get mad that I'm being aggressive or that it shows I know what I'm doing, because I'm not there to make them happy. I'm there to make myself happy and make some money.
But if you have a partner at the table that you could tip off about what you know,
Yeah,
like
that's
now
true.
you're giving yourself a statistical advantage.
You really are.
Very good, like a huge
Yeah.
advantage.
I mean, I think the Sheik would do it.
That's why I don't like how there's people that are married within our fantasy football group, because I know that behind the
100%.
scenes,
Yeah.
they're like these little trays.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
you
I
know
see
something
'em.
I don't.
I see
They're-
'em.
Yeah. They it should
And
be
what
outlawed
about
for
just
husband
advice?
and wife.
What about just advice? Like, oh, I saw that. You better dump that guy. I saw it today.
That's
Yeah.
collusion.
See that?
Collusion.
No, but they do it all the time. He's
Collusion!
We
Well,
complained
what's
one
the
year.
difference between that and you listening to a podcast that tells you to do something in your fantasy?
Well, they're not in your home. I
What
kinda
difference
feel
does
like.
it make? though?
Because the
Because
podcast host isn't a paying member of the league. The podcast host isn't trying to win the money. He's giving me the advice.
Like, this
Yeah,
lady
he's
in this house is
outside.
going to benefit from this money.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
the winner last year. I know how this goes, and I didn't
I
see
know.
a
Well,
dime.
it's
I didn't see a dime of that money.
Oh, it's all luck then.
And you want to know why I didn't see a dime of that money? It's because I have a problem with money, and I had my credit card turned off, and Andrea took the money to make up for the amount of financial mistakes that I make on a weekly basis.
I was just about to ask what the last plane you bought was. Are you still buying planes?
I can't talk about it. You know why I can't
Got a
talk
gag
about
order.
it? You know why I can't talk about it? Because they added helicopters. They finally added helicopters, dude. It's so good.
Before we get out of here, we should mention the GoFundMe that they came to talk about as well.
Let's do that. I got
Oh,
pictures
okay.
here. I got pictures.
So tell us the story
Baby.
about the kitty.
Oh, man. So I flew my daughter up to be with her biological dad on the 1st of July. I took back-to-back Spirit flights up to Rochester and back.
Yikes, you must really love your kid.
Wasn't that bad. We got back on the tarmac. We were waiting for a gate, and my wife called. And I could hear in her voice that she had been crying and that she was panicking. And I thought, oh, Jesus, she took my car to the
That was
airport
his
to pick me up, and
first
she
thought.
she got into an accident.
Yeah.
God damn it. But then, why don't you go ahead and tell the story of what actually happened?
So I was getting on a busy on-ramp to a 429, and I saw this little gray thing like army crawling across the street, and I slammed on my brakes.
It was me.
Um,
I needed help. Help! My God, the Sheik left me in the road. Goddamn Sheik.
And I'm a big watcher of like the dodo and all of those animal stories.
Yeah.
Like I watch all of those animal rescues and it's like, when's my dodo moment? Well, here it
The
is.
dodo, what is that?
It's a like a
Bird.
social media page that shares all of those.
Yeah.
This
Like
poor
cute
dog
animal videos.
was
Oh.
rescued and now he's better. You know, all of those happy
like the
stories.
one that these people set on fire and then they nursed it back to full health. It looks awesome now. Those are the ones I like. I like.
Yeah, the happy
Yeah.
endings.
Yeah,
so,
the happy ones.
So I slam on my brakes, jump out in the middle of the highway to go chase down this furball thing, and I found this very spicy cat in the grass. Its back legs were not working. So I immediately picked it up and put it in my car, and it shat in my car because it was very scared.
I don't know if you can say that.
No,
Can
you
she say
can't.
that?
It's
Oh.
okay. Though.
Oops.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Totally fine.
Oopsie
Totally
poopsie.
fine.
Beep
It's
it.
all good.
And then I called my husband hysterically crying and said I need to take this cat to the emergency vet. And
I think it'd be funny if you were like, a cat just crapped in my car.
So
So she abandoned me at the airport to go rescue this cat, and I told they had mentioned that it might need a surgery that was going to cost $10,000.
All
And I looked at
cats
the
need
vet
surgeries.
and I said, "We're teachers, so what's Plan B?" And he was like, "Well, you can try to nurse this thing back to health." And so my wife and I talked about it. And I thought, you know what? If this cat can recover, use the litter box on its own, eat food, maybe we can keep it. Thinking it would take like weeks or months. No, she pretty much did it in 4 days. So now we have a cat.
Nice.
I just didn't realize, I thought when you found like an injured animal and took it to the vet, you just dropped it off and the vet was like, "We'll take it from here, no cost to you." But no, the vet was like, "We're going to do some x-rays and that's going to cost you $615."
Well, you have to slip out while they're doing stuff. You gotta
So we set up a GoFundMe just to kind of cover some of the expenses from the initial visits. He's getting his vaccines now. We're going to have to get him neutered and stuff.
vaccines.
Now, you did spend the first 30 minutes telling us how rich you're getting. Which hurts the marketing of the GoFundMe.
Should have started with the
cat
GoFundMe.
first.
Yeah.
We
Should've
we
done
effed
only
this
cat.
up. This was like putting the mood designers in front of Carmen Morales' comedy at BDM. You can't do that. You gotta go sob story first, and then I'm rich.
Yeah. Andy
the
reminds
book's not
me.
done yet.
Yeah.
So
That's true. And technology is a changing.
And Andy's wife reminds me of my wife. Loves animals,
Yeah.
making him quit his dreams. All I can think about is me and the Sheik at a millionaire poker game.
Double Sheiks.
And then all of a sudden the Sheik's phone's blowing up, and it's Andy's wife.
Why is my wife here?
Like, the cat is crying.
Oh.
Or some the cat's in the background screaming. Anyway,
I must have done something wrong because my wife just showed up.
Andy.
You heard about the helicopters?
Yeah, I think it was about the money. I started talking about the money. My wife walked in. Are you serious? You were listening?
What's the
Oh my
GoFundMe's
God.
name?
What's the GoFundMe?
Save
thing?
some dumb cat. I don't know. I'm rich.
I posted
And
it.
you mentioned a plan B. There is a plan C.
See for cat.
I posted it in the BDM group.
Yeah, it's in the Twitch
so-
chat and the
all right.
YouTube chat as well.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, Samantha.
No, man, we appreciate you guys coming in and sharing some
So,
time with
Andy,
us.
how many followers do you have on YouTube? I'd like to purchase your YouTube channel for
Oh,
me.
wow.
That's a thing now.
Yeah.
It is
that
a thing.
people
Yeah.
buy other
I know.
channels.
I bought a World of Warcraft character last night for like $12,000.
I am just shy of 2,000 subscribers.
That's
All
good,
right,
man.
that's good.
That's good.
And then your audience, I feel like, is super engaged into one particular topic.
Yeah,
You
they
can
are.
market
They're
anything, poker tables, home game chips. There's a million different things. Anyway, we'll talk after.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So warehouse, topless waitresses,
Chic
some
outfit.
chic
Can
outfits.
we have a fun table for the poker players like
I
us that aren't crazy?
I mean, it depends on if you're topless or not.
I'll do that. That's fine.
Turn.
She brought the cat.
Stupid cat's in the car. I've got my Tesla on dog mode, keeping it alive.
All right, guys. Oh, thanks so much for coming
Yeah,
in,
thanks
Andy.
for
Guys,
coming
thanks so
here,
much.
y'all.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
Always a
No
good time.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
We will indeed. All right.
Oh, guys, that was awesome. That was so much fun.
We're still on Twitch and YouTube.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we got anything actually out about the poker game or the GoFundMe, but we had a good conversation. Worth the laugh.
That's the most important part.
It's Thursday.
You're right, man. There's a dealer at Orange City who, like, that's what he does. He buys accounts that are already established. Like, these people, they build these ghost accounts of, like, 3,000 and 4,000 followers and then sell them off to people.
Yeah, no, and you've got the engagement. So, I mean, it's, and it's worth it for someone else that wants to produce that content to just take it over. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, I've seen it happen before where even you can still pop in and do stuff, but the person, because the key to it is just you have to just keep putting it out, and obviously you don't have the time to put into it, but someone else up and coming does, and it's a huge bump to like come into.
Are we doing another segment, or should I
Is it
kill the
almost
stream?
worse that I don't want them to have that success that I spent 2 years building.
No,
Just rent it to
My
them.
success.
You okay?
Rent it to them.
What is it?
Dan,
Oh, it wasn't supposed to come until tomorrow. Thanks so much for coming by.
thanks so much for having us.
Oh, great. I'll put that in today, Andrea. Thank you.
Thanks so much for setting this up. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's my... very nice meeting you. Sorry, I'm preoccupied here and talking to everybody.
I feel so bad for you, but
No.
we actually made Tom and Dan a verb in our house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like when he starts shooting some nonsense from his mouth, I'm like, are you Tom and Danning that, or is that an actual fact?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. We've become a derogatory... We become a phrase to mean you're an idiot. I love you.
We're a verb for bullshit.
I like that. I don't think I've ever been more proud of anything we've done.
Yeah.
See, I noticed things. I was like,
Yeah, it looks good, right? Man, she always keeps her hair tight, though, and her nails.
yeah, the nails.
I gotta step it up. See y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Emily, I just brought that back.
Okay, thank you. I'll hook it up this
Are we
afternoon.
doing commercials now?
You gotta go, right?
Get out,
No.
I don't know how early.
Just at 2.
Okay.
I don't want to go too far in because we're already done with Thursday.
Yeah, let's just do commercials.
Guys, we're gonna go do commercials now. Thanks for hanging out with us. That was super fun. It was a
Thanks.
silly segment, so I hope you